Hello and welcome to another episode of Tubarks Tales, My Adventures in Learning. I'm your learning guide, Stan Scrabbit. In this episode, I'm going to highlight a few lessons learned while listening to some podcasts and show you some new tools and applications that I've come across. But first, let me tell you where I came about my name, Tubarks, because a number of people have asked. Basically, Tubarks is my World of Warcraft character. And Tubarks sits on the Sisters of Elune, and it happens to be a combat rogue. But really, Tubarks is just my last name spelled backwards. So now you know. As I mentioned, I'm listening to a lot of podcasts lately. So I've been taking them on the road in Wyoming, out walking the dogs. I listen to podcasts. And my two tools of choice happen to be podcasts for the iPhone, or Pocket Cast, and a great little tool. Just load up on podcast, plug in, and ready to go, and it'll just kind of work through all those different podcasts you loaded. On my desktop, I happen to listen to the program is called Clementine, and it allows me to subscribe to a number of podcasts, and it automatically loads them and gets them into playlists, and that's a pretty powerful little tool. One of the podcasts that I listened to recently is Working Differently in Extension, and this is a podcast that Bob Birch puts together from North Dakota State University. And one of the recent issues that I listened to had Christy Mannering, who is from the University of Delaware, is a web developer, and she gave some pretty good advice when talking about social media. And basically, what she was encouraging is when you go ahead and post something on social media, reach out to those individuals that are included in that post and ask them if they would retweet it or share it with people that they have to go ahead and spread that information out. So that's, I thought, just a nice tip that I wanted to pass on, but also kudos out to Bob Birch and what he's doing in North Dakota State University with his Working Differently podcast, or Working Differently in Extension podcast. Speaking of the guys in Extension, one of the communities of practice I belong to is called Network Literacy, and we use a hashtag called #NetLit in all our Twitter feeds when we're sharing information. And one of the things that I put together is a paperly just based simply on this hashtag, #NetLit. And you have the capability of going ahead and subscribing to this. And this goes and shows, various things that we're going out and sharing that we think are relevant to this particular group, network literacy. It's basically just learning how to use the internet better. So go ahead and check that out. You can certainly subscribe to that newsletter and have it sent to your email. Let me jump into some tools that I want to share. The first one is for my Android phone. It's called SwiftKey Keyboard. Very cool little keyboard. Replaces the keyboard that you have on your phone. What makes it really good is the fact that it's pretty darn smart on what you type. It starts building up a little history of common phrases that you use, and as you start typing the words in, it starts recommending these words to you, and it'll actually recommend entire phrases and just speeds up your ability to go ahead and type your messages in on these little devices and such. Has 30 different themes, handles a bunch of languages, does the emoticons and all that. So good little tool. This little thing that I found was on a podcast by Clark Howard, and it deals with the Kayak site. And what it does is it allows you to figure out where is a cheap place to go right now. If you have a few bucks in your pocket and a few days to spend, where can you go? So you go to kayak.com, you select more, And over on down in the bottom here, you have Find Travel, and you hit Explore. And when you hit Explore, it will show you where the possible places. So I can change my nearby airports and pick, say, Denver. And from Denver, that's the typical airport that I fly out of, it will show you all these different places around the world that you can fly in. And, some really cheap flights that are out there. So I thought this was just kind of a cool little tip. One of the things that I'm also doing is this idea of cloud printing. So I set up this green screen studio upstairs in my house, and what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to buy another computer for my other room, and have these computers separated. And so now I want to print, but I don't want to run cables everywhere. And I also have my Android phone, and I have my iPad, and I want to be able to use that. And so listening once again to one of these podcasts, they talked about Google Cloud Print. And Google Cloud Print allows you to connect your local printer to Google, and you can then share that printer with others, or you can print off multiple devices. So right now we have the ability to print from this computer. I can go to work and print to my home computer. I can print from my work computer to my home computer to my work computer. I can print from my iPad, my Android. The capabilities are just endless. So definitely something that I would recommend. Also Bernadette, she can print off her home computer and her iPad and her phone. Just a kind of a cool setup. So with this, you have various supporting applications. So for my Android device, I'm using Printer Share, which is a mobile print. And from my computer, I'm using Paperless Print, and both of them seem to work really well. Still haven't hooked up my iPad yet, just a matter of time. Google Now. Learned about this once again from an iPad or from a podcast, and Google Now is on my Android phone. It's connected to Google. It shows me all the cool stuff that I'm interested at the time. So new messages or new websites that I happen to be following, it'll present those. I ordered a package recently, and so that package was noted that it shipped just by looking at Google Now. But in association with Google Now is you have OK Google, Google's voice search. So you can go to Google Now and start talking into your phone and finding all these things. And I just wrote a recent blog post about it. But definitely pretty cool. And you can load this also on your Apple devices and have this available. It's really packaged tight with Google Chrome. Just great little capability. And down here in the lower part of my screen, I also have this loaded. So if I click on this little bell, right, it tells me what the what the scores were for the World Cup, what the temperatures are currently. Here's that tracked package that I was looking for. So I have that capability available. Just once again, another nice tool. This is not so much a tool as a particular technique. And what this is if you have a need where you have to grab some audio caption, or if you have to get a transcript from, say, an audio or a video, that you can use YouTube to do the closed caption capability. And with that closed caption, you can then export it and then clean it up. So if you don't have, the money to get, Omni or Dragon Dictation or some of these other programs that, you have this ability to, say, do this with YouTube. and it's just a matter of uploading that. You can keep your video private, and then just with the closed caption capability, it'll go through your video and put together pretty good closed caption on that. You can export and then clean it up. This next tool is called, my last tool actually is called Autohotkey. And when I was listening to it on the podcast, it sounds like Autohotkey. And, so I did a search for Autohotkey, and it actually turned up Autohotkey. And what this tool does is it allows you to create macros, or, basically binding your keyboard to certain keystrokes and then automatically doing processes for you. So it could fill out forms, it could launch software, and it just happens to be a free tool. And I thought it was just kind of a cool tool to share if you happen to be interested in automating some of your processes a little more. So Autohotkey, recommended tool. Well, that is my set of tools and lessons learned, and hopefully be able to share some more of these in the upcoming days. So thanks for joining me.